All right. Hey, guys. Hey, this is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast. Hey, you guys know what today is Sunday Fun Day. Uh, and unfortunately, I'm not back in the Lion's Den tonight, but hey, I'll get there soon. So, hey, you guys, feel free to jump on in. Hey, man, we are on like 8 different platforms tonight. But you know what? Tonight, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jeremy York. You guys,
Hello.
if you guys don't know about him, you will shortly. You know what I'm saying? But NSPS TV Paranormal is going to pick his brain. We're going to ask him all the questions about the universe, religion, hey, whatever, all the aspects of the paranormal. We're going to ask this man. So, hey, I'm going to a quick commercial and I will be right back. So, stay right tuned, brothers. All right. Hey, welcome back to the show. Hey, guys, you know who this is, right? Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast. Hey, guys, tonight we got a special treat for you. We got Mr. Jeremy York on the show. So, hey, you guys, everybody say hello from the state of Texas to Mr. Jeremy York.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, tonight, dudes, man, we've got so much going on. Tonight, we are streaming live on Rumble, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, my personal Facebook page, and we're streaming live in the great country of Japan. So, hey, all you guys, man, please welcome to the show. But you know what? With enough said, let's get this conversation started. Mr. Jeremy, tell the world, man, tell the world a little bit about you.
What's that?
Tell the world a little bit about Jeremy York.
Well, let's see. I guess I could just start at the beginning. I am the founder and owner of Things, which is the Hoosiers Investigating New Ghost Society. Also, it is also sometimes known as Things Ghost Society, or just plain old Things for short. And also the Things Network, which is a podcast channel that I've got everybody streaming live on the Facebook page, but I also put all the shows on YouTube and some select shows that have the availability. They also can go live on Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn. But yeah, just all kinds of things.
Cool, man. Hey, man, appreciate you coming out of your busy day to join me on the show. And, you know, I'm just going to jump right into the questions, man. Hopefully you'll be able to answer some of them. You know, if not, we'll figure it out together.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Are you a paranormal investigator or do you take time out to investigate?
I do investigate. It's been a long time, to be honest, because I've been going through some personal things, which has prevented me from being able to investigate. But the last time I was actually able to investigate was back in October. But I do have an opportunity to investigate next weekend, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay, well, what's going on next weekend? Where are you headed to?
Well, it's a without giving too much details. It's somebody who has a building that used to be a Masonic lodge,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a great love for everything Freemasons. Um, and only one other team has ever investigated this building, and he is looking for someone else to come in to help validate the things that he's experiencing. So we actually have two different dates. We're going over there next weekend, and then we have another date towards the end of April where I'll be taking in a second group with me. Because I've got so many different members of things, and some can only do certain weekends, and others do certain weekends. Um, there are two of them that are never able to investigate together unless one takes a vacation day.
Mm.
So, so I was able to get 2 weekends so that this group of people can go, and another weekend that another group of people can go, and it's actually going to work out really well because both groups that are going to be going bring something different to the team, so we'll be
Mm-hmm.
able to attack it from one perspective and then attack it from another one on the other.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. Why do you think so many people are, oh man, are turning their eye towards the paranormal? What is the fascination about the paranormal where you got teams that are being formed every day?
I there are different aspects of that. The legitimate ones are going after the answers of, hey, what is this? What is actually causing all of this? Is it something paranormal in nature, or is it like rattling in the pipes, or smells, odors that's causing people to hallucinate? They're checking those out. There are other teams that are going out there trying to find if there really is something beyond what we live in, after all of us pass away, and is there something on the other side of that? And then there are other teams that are being put together so that they can do a TV show or YouTube TV show. A lot of that out there too.
Mm. Now, do you think I mean, there's a lot out there, there's a lot of negativity with the whole TV thing.
Yes, there
Uh,
is.
Now, do you think that helps us or do you think that knocks us down a notch?
A lot of these shows that you see on TV are not accurate. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times you'll see some of them saying, "Hey, the production company that handles this show, they're the ones that call the shots. We just go in and do whatever, and we're basically doing what we're told to do." There are some teams that won't do that, and that is wonderful that they don't do that. But there are other teams that's like, well, I need to put food on my table, so I'm going to do what the company is telling me to do. And at the same time, by doing that, it's misrepresenting what we do.
Right.
So, so
It,
from that aspect, it knocks us down a notch.
yeah,
What's your
it's definitely putting a bad eye
yes?
on paranormal investigators as a whole. Uh, you know, it's like I always tell people when I talk to people that wants to put a team together, or I talk to a group of youngsters that that want to put a team together, and I always ask them, I'm like, well, what do you want to base your team on? And most of these people, believe it or not, Jeremy, they will say, hey, I want to base my team on the way Hollywood do it. And I have to stop them in their tracks right then and there. I mean, I don't want to bust anybody's bubble, but what we do is not for the faint of heart. What we do is very hard work. It can be educational at times, but if you're going to go in there like the way Hollywood does it, it's going to lead you down a dark path. And if you're not educated, if you don't do your history, if you don't do your research, and you don't actually, and if you just go by what they're doing and what they're saying, somebody could get hurt. Am I right or am I wrong?
A lot of people have actually gotten hurt, and there have been sometimes on a couple of these shows where it shows these people getting hurt, or at least almost getting hurt. Um, and the thing that scares me more than the people doing the investigating getting hurt, if they go out there and do all that Hollywood stuff, is that they are actually hurting the people who live in that house or the people who work in that building. Um,
Okay.
they stand the risk of getting hurt on several different levels. Because if a team goes in there and they start doing all of this Hollywood stuff, that can legitimately piss off any spirit that is there. And at the same time, if they do the misrepresentation on these buildings, now that's given unwanted attention to the owners of the building, the homes or
Mm-hmm.
the businesses. And now people are wanting to come in and say, "Hey, I heard you got a demon. I heard you got a demon. Let's check it out." You ain't got no demon.
Hey,
How, how else can I say it?
well, you can't get no better than that. You know what, man? The D word always seems to come up a lot. And, and,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really starting to irritate me.
Yeah, there are some shows out there where somebody is getting possessed all the time, or there's a lot of channels on YouTube that say I was almost killed by a demon every other episode they put out.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's that. Oh, man, if I can phase that word out, man, because I really would. I would phase that word out and just put it over there, and not even use it because
Yeah,
it's a word that nobody should use unless you got actual validation. With what? You're in a million, you'll probably get one.
yeah. My things as a group, we have over 300 investigations, and if I had a nickel for every time we encountered a demon, I still need a nickel just to have something.
Mm, there you go. Now, are you because I know you do it on the spare time. I mean, you busy man, you don't get out and investigate as much as you like. Well, what is Jeremy York? Where do you like to investigate? Tell me some of the locations that you've been to, some of the locations that you would like to go to.
Some of my favorite locations. One, since she is here now, Miss Adrian, is the Masonic Temple in Salina, Kansas, and it is a huge building. It's 160,000 square foot in a big box, 8 floors, and it is gorgeous inside. It is still in very good condition.
Mm-hmm.
I have been there twice over the course of 5 days. Was with Adrian on one of those occasions, and up on the top floor where they have all the meetings for the Masons and for the Easter Star. Um, just crazy activity. Nick was your guest from last week. He was with us um, on the last time, and we were chasing something around over and over on the top floor. That was at the Masonic Temple. Then another one of my favorite locations is more closer to home. It's called the Old Lake County Jail in Crown Point, Indiana. And
Mhm.
this jail is notable for being the place where John Dillinger escaped from a couple months before he was found and killed. And with the exception of last year, for several years, I was going there at least once a year, and it's become almost like a second or third home to me. It never disappoints. There's always that one thing that happens, and it seems to be in a different spot there in that jail every time. Um, Another one of my favorite locations is Waverly Hills.
Mhm.
Um, that one there is hit and miss for me sometimes. Um, but one thing I will never forget. Well, actually, there are two things that I will never forget. One was we were wrapping up, and me and two other guys were on the second floor grabbing up cameras because we're shutting down for the night. And one of the guys with me, he's just taking pictures and looking at them, just random pictures, and he sees something peering out from behind a pillar. He shows it to me, so I take off after it. When I get there, you know how Waverly Hills is situated, right?
No, I've never been there.
No, okay. So there are three corridors in each three rows of two rows of rooms. And then
Mhm.
there's an outside portion that is sort of like an extension to one of those rows of rooms. That's for the healthier patients where they can get out and get fresh air. That's where we were. When I get to this pillar where Corey had caught this picture, I see something running across one of the rooms, and I go through the room that's right next to me to try to head it off, see if somebody was going to come. There was nobody there.
Mm.
Yeah, but I know
Interesting.
awesome. It was very interesting. I'm thinking, holy cow, we are 30 minutes away from leaving, and now we're ready to get started because
Oh
of
wow.
yeah. I would have loved that for to have happened towards the beginning of the night, but not at the end as we're getting ready to leave. That makes me want to stay.
Right? It make you want to spend that extra 30 minutes. You know
Yeah.
what, Jeremy? Let me ask you a question here. And I ask everybody that comes on my podcast. You live in Indiana, right?
Yes.
You have a basement?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
You
I'm
don't have a
honest.
basement?
No,
You
I'm
got a
honest.
garage.
I do.
Okay, man, that Jeremy York's hanging out in the garage, and he's filling with things. I mean, he put a nut and bolt into this. He do some super glue into that. He's just putting things together. And Jeremy York was like, "Man, what kind of contraption is this?" But you hit that switch, boom, it cuts on. You didn't even know the damn thing worked. So you're looking and you see things you've never seen before. You see people over here, you see people over there, but damn, Jeremy, if you turn around, you don't see them. I like that. But if you look into the device, you see it. Man, you just made a device that can look into the next dimension where the next dimension where you can actually speak with the dead. The question that I have for you, Jeremy, is with that type of technology, with that type of science, would you share that with the world or would you keep that to yourself?
I would want to make sure that it's validated first. So I would share it with certain trusted people who I know would pick it apart and absolutely make sure that works. like that. And if it really is legit, then yeah, I would let other people use it.
Okay, now you know by opening up Pandora's box, you know what kind of criticism and skepticism you're gonna get by this. Or is Jeremy York prepared for that? Is the world prepared for something like that?
Well, the world, in my opinion, is divided into two different types of people. One is those who are willing to accept and willing to move forward with this kind of change and actually have the responsibility to treat it like this thing is this thing is important. Then there's another group of people who don't want to accept change of any kind. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but let's say for an example, let's say for you put it out there. Can you imagine how the world would be? What would me and you be doing on the weekends? Nothing. Because there would no need to be paranormal investigators because they got all the answers that they need are in this device. Then we got to look at the religion aspect of it. How would religious, you know, how would they react towards a device like that? You know, certain religions is man, they are spirits of
Most
front on, man. They really don't care.
most religions are very closed off to what we do. Well,
Mm-hmm.
not, I don't want to say most. There are some religions out there that are very closed off what we do, that we are basically demon hunters and we're talking with demons and all of that. We're being fooled or we're fooling ourselves. A lot of them look at what we do as we're stupid and that we don't really know what we're doing. Now, there can be some some validity to them saying we don't know what we're doing, but when you look at everything, everything is all guesses and theories and we're experimenting. So there could be an argument to that. But then there are those of us who have been doing this for so long. Yeah, we kind of have an idea of what we're doing, even though what we're doing still has not been proven um, by any scientific field, so to speak.
And it's weird because there are in Texas, believe it or not, there are the paranormal field is an up and coming thing. People want to bring it into our high schools. People want to bring it into our colleges because it's such a big man. It's really big here. I mean, there are
In,
teams coming up every day. So
in
I
a
hope.
way, that actually has happened. In a way, that has happened. And Adrian can actually tell you there's somebody that she knows who actually took it. May not be paranormal in general, but it actually kind of falls into that spectrum a little bit where he took a college where they were doing like metaphysics and learning. Adrian, help me out here. Um, like getting to know the. I know there was metaphysics in there. I want to say mediumship maybe. Adrian can go more into that.
You know,
But in terms of high schools, there are some high schools out there that have paranormal enthusiast groups.
Yeah.
where they have this extracurricular activity, and they have these meetings once a week. Nick started one up there in the Chicago area. I know there's at least one high school here in Indiana that has a paranormal group. They meet once a week, and they also do investigations every so often. So if those two high schools do it, I'm pretty sure that there's probably at least one high school in every state in the country that does it.
Yeah. I was going to bring up parapsychology, and physics, but yeah, man, I got to agree with you, man. It's an upcoming thing, and I think as time go along, maybe 10 to 20 years from now, man, you're going to be able to get a degree from parapsychology, and I mean they're getting degrees from physics now, but parapsychology not as much. But man, I hope that really takes place. I mean, I really do because I'm looking at the next generation of paranormal investigators that are, are going to be jumping into the field.
See,
And
that's why I have the fear for the next generation, because a lot of them are going to be paying attention to what's on TV and what's on YouTube. So they are being feeding a massive amount of misinformation, and they may not necessarily have somebody on the other side of their ear saying, no, this is how you need to do this. Don't pay attention to what you're seeing on TV, because you're just going to make yourself look like a fool.
right. And what century are we in right now, Jeremy?
Sometimes I wonder that myself.
Okay, we're in the 21st, right? 21st century. And
This,
this is what today's paranormal investigators look like. Me, you, and everybody on the panel right now. But can you imagine what the 23rd century paranormal investigator is going to look like? Do you have an idea?
I would dare think that they might be dressed in clothing similar to what the Jetsons would wear.
I'm thinking they might be a little bit more military, light footed, boots.
With the way that we are going right now in the political world, we might just be going in that
Yeah,
direction.
man. And can you imagine the equipment? I think the equipment would be, man, 10 times as better as what we have now.
Oh, absolutely. If when you think about the very first paranormal investigating team, they started in the 1850s, I think, in Europe, in England. The technology that they had then was nilch. And then as they moved on into the 20th century, where they started using those great big tape recorders, um, and all of that stuff, and now you move to the 21st century. Okay, now we got all kinds of these electromagnetic field meters, EMF meters. Some people had like what Adrian just said with the pendulums. Some people communicate with pendulums, spirit boxes. Some people out there use Ouija boards. That's been going on for 100 and some years now. Um, and and there are new things being discovered to this day. Like 4 years ago, yeah, about 4 years ago, I started experimenting with a dog whistle. I had
Oh, wow.
never heard of anybody using that, and I discovered that the dog whistle has certain effects on the paranormal world. So I shared it out with some of my friends, and most of them have used it responsibly. A couple of them, use it in a couple of places where they're not supposed to use it, and they learn. Let's put it that way. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've the biggest thing that when I talk with paranormal investigators is how many um, now different nationalities, different religions are paranormal investigators, and women are coming out of the closets, man, being paranormal investigators. I mean, I've met so many women that are paranormal investigators now. They are, and they're independent, and every time I ask them, I'm like, hey, are you going to have a team? They always say, no, I'm better off investigating by myself. So hey, kudos to all you female paranormal investigators out there. Hey man, really appreciate all that you guys do. There's one woman I know out in East Texas. She travels by herself to investigations, but she don't always, because she always have a 6-shooter with her. But I don't know what a 6-shooter is gonna do for a spirit, but maybe.
No, but if she is out in the open, she's going to need some form of protection, especially if she's out in the woods, in the fields where there's all kinds of critters and dangerous animals.
Mm-hmm.
She needs something with her to protect herself.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, man. Or do you have any plans on coming to Texas?
Do what now?
Do you have any plans on coming to Texas?
Not anytime soon, as of right now. The last time I had been in Texas was, oh boy, maybe 10 years ago, and that was for the bowling tournament in El Paso.
Oh man. Well,
Yeah.
we need to get you down here in Texas, brother. Uh Chris Bender, what part of Texas? I'm located down in the central Texas area, around the Austin, Round Rock, Cedar Park area. Adrian, I have been to the Oak Park Hotel. Very interesting place. They actually having a Paracon here at Oak Park, the West Texas Paracon, April 12th and 13th. So I'll be over there showing off some of my merch and some of this 23rd century equipment that we use. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting time for us. Jeremy, do you go to Paracons?
Only the ones that I'm setting up.
Okay.
Most Paracons are not very close to where I live. I think the closest one is at least 2-hour drive from me.
Ooh-wee.
That is for the ones that I am not setting up at. There is one in Peru, Indiana, which is a 90-minute drive west from me. I do set up there. I'm actually on the committee for that one. It's called a Para-Unity Convention. We're going now into our 6th year of that. I have set up at Paracons here in Fort Wayne, one up near the South Bend area. I've set up at a Paracon that was held in Salina, Kansas, that Adrian and I were somewhat a part of, but not really. Long story. But usually I don't go to other Paracons because, one, they are several-hour drive for me, and two, some of these Paracons, they charge money to get into, which I get that because they get, some of them get big-time celebrities. I know Scarefest down in Lexington, Kentucky, they have gotten guys like Robert Englund recently. Now, who doesn't want to meet Freddy Krueger?
Right?
Um, but yeah, it's just really for me a matter of justifying: do I go? Do I not go? Um, More times than not, the answer is no. I'm not going to go because it's going to take me 3 hours just to get there,
Right.
and it's not going to cost me just 25 $40, whatever it is for the day's admission, but it's also going to most likely cost me the cost of a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
the gas, maybe the cost of parking if they do that. So your $40 admission to for a 1 day thing is really going to cost you over $100, $150, and that's without buying merchandise from
Right.
vendors, without paying for pictures or autographs, which I don't do any of that anyway. So you're looking at a couple $100 just to go to a convention.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. It's it's getting well, it hasn't gotten pricey. It's been pricey. And not only for the Paracons, but some of these real expensive locations that you pay to get into, and you don't know if you're going to hit pay or you don't know if you're going to strike out. It's just one of those things that, man, it's a moneymaker.
it
There's a
is.
lot of money to be made in the paranormal field.
Oh yeah, and also in some of these Paracons, not all of them offer overnight investigations or however long the investigations is. More times than not, the ticket for that costs more than what it would be if you were to get the place yourself and do a private thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm just one of those guys where I'm able to. Texas is big enough where I'm able to find locations and explore. When you look for a location, you turn off that paranormal investigator part of what you are. You become more of an urban explorer. So when I'm doing my urban exploring, I'm looking at potential signs of a haunting or something being there. But I'm not having any equipment or anything like that. Hell, I can go right around the corner and find an abandoned, a house or an old school, that I'm able to get into and be able to figure things out. So it's if I can find something like that and keep $700 in my pocket, which one you think I would go with? You know what I'm saying?
There's no question.
I got to keep that $700 in my pocket. And then so on and so on. Dude, you wouldn't believe how many locations that I've discovered just by driving around the city.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, uh,
And
and
there's a
it's
lot of history in Texas. The state has seen a lot of battles.
Oh yeah, and you know what's so crazy about it? Most of those battles have been south. You're looking in the San Antonio area. Where you had the Alamo and you got Santa Ana. With all that, you got Goliad, you got Gonzales, you got all those places. See, the war didn't come this far north.
Right.
But the reason why they didn't come this far north because there are so many Native Americans that are up north. you
Yeah.
know. So they didn't want to mess with the natives. So they were keeping themselves going through, San Antonio into Houston and so on and so on. Well, okay, I'm going to pop this up. You're paying for places that actually have some proven evidence in. Okay, great question. And I'm gonna try to answer that. You know what? And I don't know how Jeremy feel about this, but I'm going to tell you how I felt. Actually, the proven evidence, yeah, man, I can go 60-40 on that. I mean, there's a lot of places that, that's been proven that it has evidence. But like Jeremy was saying earlier, it could be that damn tree on top of the damn roof. We really don't know. You know what I'm saying? Or it could be something. But if you don't have that true, actual fact that something is haunted, then I can't give you that. You know what I'm saying? I can't give you that. You know,
I like
what,
to think that some locations price based on what they actually have. I'm not talking paranormal. Um, some locations, I believe, set their prices based on what do they have to put back into the building. Because there are some buildings out there, whatever money that they pull in from the investigation, they put back into the building for renovations or for upkeep and all of that. So a
Mhm.
place like Waverly Hills, they charge $1,100. Yeah, that's $1,100 for up to 10 people. So you're looking at $110 a person. Now, Waverly, they are constantly working on the place. So I can see them justifying that. Now, there are other places, they're much smaller locations. They only charge, I say, $350 for up to, let's say, 8 people. Um, and I think that that's reasonable because if it's a smaller location, they don't have to have that big bank account. Uh,
Mhm.
but there are some locations that need to charge extra because they need to put that money back into the building. Because if they don't charge X amount, um, then they may as well just let it all go because it is not going to offset their expenses. So they
Mm.
need to be able to have something to equal or go a little bit higher than their expenses.
Or guys, and all you guys that are listening or in the comments, you come to Texas, keep your money in your pocket, and I can show you some great locations. I can promisely tell you that it might be hit and miss. It might be hit and miss. It really depends on the spirit or whoever that's at that certain location. But I'm just being honest with you. You come down here, you will have a good time, and you will get a chance to investigate some of the best locations that Central Texas has to offer. Now, I'm not talking. Hey, I'm talking about abandoned nursing homes, jails, places where we know there's been death and we know there's been sadness and sorrow. You'll have an opportunity to feel all those things, and you might need some tissue afterwards. You know what I'm saying?
There's one location near Dallas that I want to try that I want to check out. It's called Goatman's Bridge. You know a little bit about that?
Okay. Now, are you an urban legend guy?
I'm not, but I have heard a lot of people talking about this place.
The thing about Goatman's Bridge is if you don't know, you don't know. In
Yeah.
order for you to understand that place, history it's been changed over the years, so nobody really knows what happened to this gentleman. You know, and it's trust me, I don't mind urban legends. I don't mind investigating urban legends. But the thing with urban legends is it's been changed since the beginning of time. We really don't know. You know what I'm saying? It can easily be said, hey man, it takes one person to start an urban legend.
Mhm.
And you take it to a school and put that one word of those couple of words out, bam, there go your urban legend. It's going to go from one person to a next person to a next person. And then once those kids get kids, and those kids are going to tell their kids, then it's going to get switched up all over again. So, it's one of those things that I really don't, I had my team, oh, let's go to Goatman's Bridge. I won't be going. Nope, I would not waste my time on it because it's urban legend.
I,
And trust me, there are some great urban legends out there.
Mhm.
There's some validation in some of these urban legends, but that particular one, I'm not going to waste my time with.
There's a bridge a couple hours away from me. It's called the Edna Collins Bridge. Now, it has been documented that a little girl died right on the river, or stream, really is what it is. She was 9 years old, I think. I could be wrong on that, but she was discovered by her father. This was way back about 100 years ago, and her father had a bridge built in her memory. Um, and her gravesite allegedly is less than a mile away from that bridge. Now, I have been there a couple of times, and this last time that I was there, we got there and we were getting ready to do our investigation when a whole bunch of kids come in, a lot of high school kids. And it was right before 4th of July. I'll never forget this because I was so pissed off. Just it gets better. Trust me on this one. So so we're waiting by my car, just waiting on them to get done because there's like 20 of them, and you can't do any kind of investigation when you have 20 kids on a bridge. That's not going to happen,
Right?
especially when this bridge is a one-lane bridge. Out of
Hmm.
nowhere, all of these kids start running like something spooked them. They all start running. And thought, well, what the hell got into them? And now we're starting to get excited. Okay, maybe something happened and it scared them. Now we're going to go up in there. We no sooner get 5 feet away from my car, firecrackers start going off in the middle of the bridge.
Hmm.
I was pissed off.
Yeah, but
We can't stay there because somebody nearby, there weren't anybody that was real close, but still could have
mhm.
heard it. Now there's a fair chance that they called the cops.
Hmm. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
so
great.
we
Yeah,
can't stay there. Yeah.
yeah. Hey, what do you think about law enforcement and their experience with the paranormal? Do you think they sometimes over exaggerate on some of the claims that, because I've seen, man, law enforcement, I've heard some weird stories about these guys and some of the claims that they put out there. Do you believe in some of the stories law enforcement has put out there?
It would really have to depend on the person. Um, there is there are some out there that will exaggerate, but there are others out there that won't exaggerate. They will tell you straight up. Um, I would like I would like to think because these guys are going into so many people's homes, sometimes multiple times a day. So it's almost a guarantee that we're going to be seeing some crazy stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but it would really all depend on who the officer is, and if I don't know this person, then I'm going to have to take it with a grain of salt, like I would have the next person, whether that person's law enforcement or not. Now, Chris brings up a real good point. pilots and UFOs. I would like to think that when they say they see stuff there, I think that they see stuff up there because that has been happening since the 1940s.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since people have been going up into the air, they have always run into something. Um, and it seems like they have some video evidence, although with today's age, technology age, it's really hard to tell because it's so easy to fake stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even tell what's real and what's not. But I would like to think that the ones that have been shown before we got into all of this Photoshop and movie maker and all of that stuff, I like to think that that stuff is real. Like the Arizona lights, where each of these lights just started popping up one right after another. I think that
Mm-hmm. Oh wow. Okay.
yeah.
Now, I used to be a truck driver, and I've been all across the country. I mean, I came inches away from going to Alaska. Uh, Jeremy, which state do you think is the most haunted state in our country?
Which state?
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
I mean, every state has their own little.
Every state has their own thing. This is something where you can ask a hundred people and you're going to get 100 answers. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to think that the more haunted states are the ones that have seen more things than others, especially in battlegrounds. So I would tend to think that anything over on the East Coast probably more haunted simply because they've seen the Revolutionary War, they have seen the War of 1812, they've seen the Civil War. Um, I would dare think that some of the states along that eastern seaboard is probably more haunted. But on the flip side of that, when you go all the way over to the west and you're looking at New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Nevada, now you're getting into where you have cowboys versus Indians. And there is a long history there from centuries past where Indians fought other Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then there's the whole thing about Indian burial grounds, um, which seems to have more negative effects than any other cemeteries. For there's so a question like that would be very subjective to the person answering. I can tell you it's New York. Adrian can tell you it's Utah. Jennifer, she you're gonna get a different answer from everybody.
Well, I don't want nobody to be biased because of the state that they're living in. I want you. If I ask a question like that, uh, you got to have hardcore facts. You got to be able to say, "Hey, man," like you're saying, a lot of bloodshed on the East Coast, a lot of bloodshed in the South because of the slave trade and back then, dude, it was a lot of Spanish fighting back then. The conquistadors, and if you really want to go in that far, you want to go down to South Texas, where there's a heavy flux of Native Americans and Mexicans fighting each other.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but the
In any battleground that you come across, the chances are high that there's going to be something happening there, whether if it's an intelligence or whether it's a residual. And
mm-hmm,
there have been numerous stories in all different locations where they hear like cannonballs, or they hear what sounds like a stampede going down a valley, or they they see something. They see a bunch of people coming. It, Battlegrounds are very popular with the paranormal community. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Gettysburg being the most well known, but I think it falls in line with any other battleground that you come across, whether if it's in New York, New Jersey, Louisiana, New Mexico, Texas.
Right. Right. Okay. Good answer. Good answer. Uh, Jeremy, you are the founder. You're the leader of so many people that are under you. And with what's going on in the paranormal field today, all the bickering, all the fighting, all the negativity that's going on, and what's so crazy about it, Jay? Can I call you Jay by chance? Thank you. Uh, uh, if you had a solution on bringing all of us together under one umbrella, how would you do it?
Very carefully. Um, right now, with the field, the state of the field right now, it is so discouraging, and in a lot of cases, so disgusting. What I've seen. For example, I really don't want to bring it up, but there are some people that I have seen where they are basically being fat shamed.
Mm,
And I'm thinking to myself, what does a person's weight have anything to do with what they're doing in the field? Um, and there are others where all they do is just complain. I get the complaint, but all they do is complain about the YouTubers and how every place they go to is demonic. Um, I get that, but for crying out loud, shut up. Because they post about it 10 times a day. It's,
yeah.
it's sad. Okay, I get it. You don't like it. You know what? I don't like it either. But here's what I do about it. I don't pay them any attention. I don't give them views. I don't give them subscriptions. I do not advertise them
Mm,
because the way that I see it is if you're going to talk about somebody, so let's say, let me use you for example. I'm
okay.
going to go on Facebook and I say, oh, Terry is a terrible guy. He does this terrible show. Well, guess what? People are going to go to you and watch you to find out what I'm talking about. So,
Yeah.
so by complaining about you, I'm actually promoting you.
Yeah. You're right.
So that's why I don't do anything with those YouTubers. I don't like what they do, but I'm not gonna promote them in any way and complain about them on my timeline because that means people are gonna go look them up to see what I'm talking about.
Mm, right. Right. Jeremy, how many people come to you for paranormal advice? Like, Jeremy,
Um,
I'm having this problem, man. Can you help a brother out? You know, do you give them advice or
I
do you?
try it if it's something beyond what my capabilities do, then I will point them in the direction of somebody that I think can help them. But I am not going to sit around and bullshit them and say, yeah, I can do this, I can do that. No, if I can, I will. But if it's something that I know I can't do, then I'm going to point you to someone else. I'll
Mm,
tell you straight up, this is not something that I can do.
right. Right. Okay.
Like recently, I had somebody asking me about cleansing a home. I don't do that. I have never been trained. I've seen people do it, but I don't do that. This person can, and I know this person can, so I can refer you to them.
Okay. Now, if I'm just new to this field and I come to Jeremy York, I email you and I say, Jeremy, I'm new to the field. I got all the up to date equipment. I just need help to get my foot on the ground. What kind of advice would you tell this person? Where would you send them?
Tell them don't pay attention to what you see on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Don't pay attention to most of what you see on TV. The best way of actually learning is to get with a team, work with them, see how they do it. Um, that's really the best way of doing it. Don't go in with any perceived notions that you're going to actually find a ghost, because more times than not, that is not the case.
Mm. Okay.
And don't be so heavily reliant on equipment. Now, I'm one to talk. I got a big closet full of equipment, but I have been in this thing long enough to know, okay, for this case, I'm going to need this these sets of equipment. For that case, I'm going to need those things.
Mm. Okay. Now, man, I got this big old logo on my van, and I made, I made specifically, I put it paranormal investigator because I want people to know that what I am and what I'm about. But some people have a tendency to say a ghost hunter. Can you tell the world the difference between a paranormal investigator and a ghost hunter?
Oh boy. Um, I actually almost got into an argument with somebody on that one. So, so a ghost hunter, you have already contaminated yourself, because as a ghost hunter, that means you're looking for a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
So you are already walking in with the notion that there's a ghost in this building. Paranormal investigator, they go into the building. Okay, let's figure out what's going on here. Let's figure out why this noise is being made, or why people are smelling this, why they think they're seeing shadows. Let's figure out why this is happening. If it turns out to be paranormal in nature, okay, you may have found a spirit that's doing something. But when you're investigating, you're trying to figure out what is really causing this, so that you can say, okay, you don't have to worry about there is a ghost here.
Mm-hmm.
But a ghost hunter goes in, the smallest click, oh yeah, your house is haunted.
Mm.
That don't
Yeah.
fly with me. So that's why when somebody says, I'm a ghost hunter,
Oh boy, that is, yeah. You know what? And Hollywood didn't help that either.
yeah.
With ghost hunters. I think they
Well,
should have. I
they
think they
did
should have tweaked the
that,
name a
that
little
was
bit.
not their chosen title. That was the production company's name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Jason was very clear on that they did not come up with the name of the show. The production company did.
which is it just threw everybody off. Hey, but let's change the subject a little bit. Let's go into the medical aspect of paranormal. What exactly your number on certain cases that you go into a location and you find out it's more medical and mental compared to its actual being paranormal.
That that has happened on a number of occasions, actually. I the team, we have a questionnaire. Uh, it's like a 3-page questionnaire, and it's got all kinds of stuff on it. Do you drink alcohol? Do you take recreational drugs? Are you on any medical prescriptions? Have you had um, a very invasive questions? Your mental conditions. Have you ever been I would have to pull it up so that I could list them all out. But one of the more recent cases we had, this guy swore up and down that he was being visited by a succubus, that it was attached to him, and he needed help right away. As it so happened, like 2 or 3 days later, we were going to another location. So a couple of us stopped at his house. We talked with him, and it became very clear that this guy was actually suffering from alcohol withdrawal, because I want to say it was about a month before we got there, he had quit drinking alcohol cold turkey after being an alcoholic for 20 years.
Mm.
And he was sitting in his chair, and he was shaking so bad. His eyes are darting all over the place. He can't focus on anything. And the 4 of us that went to go see him, after we were talking with him and all of this, doing the interview, we went outside, which normally we will do anyway, so that beep beep, so that we can talk in private. Okay, what do you think? All 4 of us said immediately, this guy is suffering from alcohol withdrawal.
Interesting.
And it turned out that was the case.
Mm.
Then there was a case that we had very early on, years ago. These 2 ladies were living in a single wide trailer, and the one was having all kinds of stuff happening to her. She's hearing things, she's seeing things. The other one, not so much. But the one, oh man, this place is haunted. We need something. So me and another person, we drive down there. It's about an hour drive. We go down there, and this single wide trailer was not exactly the kind of home condition that you would expect somebody to be living in.
Mm-hmm.
The single wide trailer was basically a farm.
Mm.
When you walk in, you expect to see your couch, your chairs, your TV. There was none of that. Animal cages on top of animal cages. They had 10 dogs.
Oh, wow.
10 cats.
Oh, wow.
And they told us this. They had gerbils, hamsters, rabbits, all living in a single wide trailer.
Oh, man.
So imagine the smell.
Definitely.
And then on top of that, the one girl that is seeing and hearing all of this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
when she was filling out the questionnaire, she listed at least 10 different prescriptions that she was on. So I took this list of prescriptions and I gave it to a friend of mine here in town who is a pharmacist. And she was saying, oh, yeah, this combination of this, and this is going to make you see things. This combination of this, and this is going to make you hear things. So
Mm-hmm.
the whole, all these medicines that she was taking, on top of the smell from the feces and the urine all over this house, and plus it's very hard to keep all these animals clean. That was just a recipe for disaster.
Ooh, you know what? I can't even. Ugh, the smell must have been overwhelming.
It was. You know how it is when you're in the dead of summer and you're working inside and it's all air conditioned and everything, and then you open
Hmm.
the door and that heat just hits you. That was exactly how it was when they opened up that door and all that smell came out. It's like that smell was coming out into outer space, just sucking it out.
Yeah, okay.
It,
Man.
it was bad.
Oh, I bet. So, how did you manage to help them out? What is,
I told her that the best thing to do, at least to start with, is go to your doctor, say, hey, these I think these medicines are causing me to go crazy. Not crazy, but seeing and hearing all of this stuff. Is there any way we can narrow this down? Um, and they did, and it seemed to have gotten better. And then they ended up splitting up. One went somewhere, the other one somewhere else, and we never
hmm
really got to actually close the case per se. But at least we were able to say, hey, go to your doctor, talk to him or her, figure out all these medicines, because when you're on all these medicines at one time, that's not really going to do you any good, your head or your liver.
right? Because one thing I do notice is all these pharmaceuticals, and I talk about this on all my every podcast I'm on. These pharmaceuticals, you really don't know what they're putting in them. The medicine today, you got some 20%, you might see something. You got another 20% of something, and you got another 60% of something, and they putting all that together, and damn, you got something that can help your heart. But in
Uh,
the meantime,
a couple of years ago, my dad was prescribed a certain medication, and the pharmacist would not fill it because this new prescription, if taken at the same time as one of his other prescriptions, would give him a heart attack because of how they would interact with each other.
hmm
So this pharmacist saved my dad's life.
yeah, man, it's crazy how these pharmaceuticals are. And to be honest with you, and if I had to pick a number, I would say, this is the numbers I'm going to stick with. It's got to be 60-40. That 60% of some of it can be mental, and some of it, and the 40%, most of it can be paranormal. And everybody's numbers are different, on that. But you just never know, man, because the pharmaceuticals will never tell you what's in their drugs and so on and so on. But I am going to ask you a couple more questions, and I'm going to get you out of here, brother, because I can talk about this all night. Uh,
It's easy.
let's talk about the Catholic Church. One of my favorite discussions. How do you feel about the Catholic Church?
I I am not a religious person at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't follow any religion. Now, that's not to say that I'm an atheist. I'm not an atheist, but I don't follow any religion. I don't practice anything. I just basically do what I can to live a good life and treat people good.
Now, wouldn't you say that the Catholic Church set the foundation for what we do as paranormal investigators today?
I don't think so because I hear from a lot of people saying that the Catholic Church look down on the people who do investigations,
Mm-hmm.
but yet when it comes to if there is a legitimate exorcism that needs to be done, which is rare, then the Catholic Church supposedly has to okay it. But
Mhm.
I have been finding out recently that each religion has their own set of rules per se for exorcism. So it's just all going to depend on what two things really: the family that's going through this, what their religious beliefs are, and also if they are able to figure out the possessor, which would be the most effective against him.
Hmm. Now, wouldn't you say that the Catholic Church was the very first one to send out a paranormal investigator out into the world to investigate a claim that the church has heard about?
I don't know. I really don't.
Mm, okay. Now, I'm just going to throw this at you. Uh, do you believe Van Helsing is a myth or is a legend?
Say that again.
Do you believe Van Helsing? Do you think he was real or do you think he's just a myth?
This is where I would be right down the middle,
Hmm.
um,
Okay.
because the way that I am is I'm going to say this the same about all of them. Um, God, Jesus, uh, it, any of them. I don't have any evidence to say it's just a myth, it's non-existent, it's just a story, and I don't have any evidence to say this is the real thing
Hmm.
because I don't want to say yes or no, and then, oh, I was wrong.
Hmm.
Now this
Interesting.
is everything of what I believed.
Right.
So
Now,
it's
how
very
can a
I have, yeah.
right? How can a man who has so much, you hear his name everywhere. I mean, they've made movies about this guy. The Catholic Church even has his name on certain documents that I've heard of. Uh, you know, and I just can't think, but I'm like, man, this guy had to be real at one point of time. You know, because it's just one of those names where it's you can't deny him, on who he is because of what he's done. This guy apparently, this guy was he was the first paranormal investigator that the Catholic Church sent out to investigate something that they could not understand.
I honestly don't know.
It's one of those questions, man. I mean, the name has been around for generations. I mean, it's got to be some validation to who this guy is and what he was really about, and why would the Catholic Church send him on some of the most important jobs that they had, back when the Catholic Church was sending people out to investigate strange phenomena. Make you want to go, hmm.
Oh yeah, there's so much out there that make you go um, and when when you look at the people who will be here 1,000 years from now they're going to be having all of these documents of stuff from people today, and they're going to be wondering who was that guy? Did that guy actually exist? Just the same as we're doing back then. But
Mm-hmm.
but the difference between us and then those people and us is that now we actually have photographic evidence, video evidence, providing that evidence lasts 1,000 years from now, which
Mm-hmm.
now in the digital world, yeah, I could go either way
Yeah.
because so much can happen.
Why do you think that the Catholic Church is so secretive for for the with their findings? I mean, they have this big vault where it's just massive of all kind of artifacts, books, scriptures from God knows where from. Hell, from far as I know, it could be a UFO stashed in that place. Also, you know,
Jennifer, I would be afraid to read your journals. Jennifer is a real good friend of mine, and she she has been very entertaining. Let's say that.
well, you know what? Uh, you might be right, Facebook user. To control the masses, but you know what? The masses eventually uh, they're going to come to their senses. Eventually, the masses always do.
I honestly don't know. Um, the way that this world is going right now, it almost seems like we're taking a back step.
Mm, yeah. Now, do you think that the Catholic do you think the Catholic Church still has a say so on certain investigations that are out there? They send people out. Do you think they still have their foot on the ground when it comes to paranormal investigating?
I would say that they probably don't do anything unless there is a legitimate exorcism that needs to be done. If it's just a run of the mill investigation, they're not even going to bat an eye to it.
Interesting question. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because the way that now again this is how I'm perceiving it from what I have heard other people talk. The A regular paranormal investigation. Let's say you and I are going to Waverly Hills to investigate. That is
mhm.
so far beneath what they do. That would basically be um, like, let's say you're asking the president to bag groceries at the grocery store.
Okay.
That, that's how I would kind of equate that. That's how I think the Catholic Church looks on this. That they don't need to do this. They don't. They're too good to do something like that. Let's.
Interesting. All right. Well, hey, I
I
just
don't.
want to.
I don't pull any punches.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's good. That's good because a lot of that's a good answer. You know what I'm saying? Because I know the Catholic Church, just like any other religion, has many, many, many secrets.
Oh yeah,
Some that can affect mankind as a whole, and some that can change the world in an instant. But I guess we just got to wait till that time and come to see if they can open up that vault.
yeah. They from what I've heard, they are extremely protective of certain secrets, just like the Freemasons are
Hmm.
protective of certain secrets.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But
Yeah.
oh yeah, everybody has a different agenda. I mean, no one agenda is the same. Because not too many people don't think the same. Everybody has different agendas, man, whether it's good or bad. If it's good for mankind, they'll put it out. But if people think it's not good for mankind, they'll leave it in the little bottle and put the cork on it and put it away. That's how that works. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Lord. Chris, Catholic Church created vampires. You know what?
I'll buy that, Chris.
You know, it's crazy.
I just had Chris on my show last week. No, I just had him on 3 days ago. Not last week, 3 days ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, Chris is a good friend of mine. We talk a lot of wrestling. But he also has a passion for the paranormal field as well.
Right.
But we talk more about wrestling than anything else.
Well, hey, speaking of wrestling, who's your favorite wrestler of all times?
Bret Hart.
Bret the Hitman Hart.
In fact, I don't know. Well, here. That's his symbol.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's his symbol on my arm.
Well, you know who was my favorite? It's probably a little bit before your time, but I would have to say the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, he was actually before my time and during my time. When I got into wrestling, he had just been fired by Vince. Then a few months later, he came back at WrestleMania, and I was there at WrestleMania when he returned.
Oh, really?
Yep, I was sitting way up there in the nosebleed seats in the Hoosier Dome when he came out.
And how much those seats cost you? $30, $40?
I don't remember. I was 11 years old. My dad bought those tickets.
Wow. Now you better add some zeros onto that bad boy if you want to go to WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah. Now I think they're like $300.
Woo! No, sir. AJ Styles. Hey, Randy Orton. I love some Randy. The Viper is a cool guy. Yeah, man. But he's getting up there in age, so he's not able to do the things he's used to do. But he's definitely going into the Hall of Fame, just like his dad.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, Jeremy, last question, brother, and I'm gonna get you out of here, man. It's been a very interesting podcast.
I try to keep it interesting.
No, it's okay. Do you have a bucket list? If you do, where would you like to go investigate and why?
St. Augustine Lighthouse.
Okay.
That is St. Augustine, Florida, and it's basically because of that episode that they had on Ghost Hunters, where they're in the second season where they're chasing something up the thing. Because of that's why I want to go to the lighthouse, and plus I've never done a lighthouse before, and I would like.
I heard there's a lighthouse in South Carolina that's. Have you ever seen Expedition X?
No.
Oh man, with my Expedition X, man, with my man Josh Gates. Yeah, that lighthouse is.
Let's see. It's the first show was Destination Truth. No, he's got a new show. I can't think of what it is now.
Expedition X or something. He got the two. One's a skeptic and the other one's a paranormal investigator, I believe so.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Expedition Unknown.
Yeah, Expedition Unknown.
Yes.
Josh has always been one of my favorite paranormal investigators because he leaves it up to you to decide. He doesn't say, hey, you guys, it's haunted. He leaves it up to his audience to decide on whether it is or whether it isn't. And that's what I like about Josh. As
What I
far as
like
he,
is that he goes all over the world instead of staying within the country. He goes everywhere.
Mhm. And his saying is he's seen things he can't explain, and I think he's done things he can't explain. I like that. So he's a cool guy, man. I would like to meet him one day. He sounds like he's pretty down to earth. Okay. Well, any other place would you like to go before then, or are you going to stick with the lighthouse?
I want to stick with the lighthouse because I can't really think of any other location right now that I really want to go to. There are plenty that I would love to go to that I've never been to, like Trans-Allegheny. I'd like to go there. I would have loved to have gone to Eastern State Penitentiary, but they have decided to do away with the paranormal aspect of the prison, and now they're just strictly historical.
You can't have one without the other. That's kind of weird.
Well, they rode that wave for the paranormal for about 20 years. And I don't know if they may have new owners that have no interest in the paranormal at all. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if that's the case. It's very much like with WCW. Ted Turner bought it because he loved the wrestling business, and then when
Mm-hmm.
he merged with AOL Time Warner, they became the majority owners. They wanted nothing to do with wrestling. So in less than 3 years, that was gone.
Right.
So and that could be the same case of what happened with Eastern State. I don't know, but it would make sense.
Oh wow. Interesting. Ah man, I so many locations I would love to get to. Man, I don't think I even have enough time or money to get there. It's man, it's
I don't
unbelievable.
know
But
anybody.
dude, Jeremy, tell the world how to get a hold of you, man. If they want to reach out to you, say hello, pop some popcorn, watch a movie with you, hell, tell them how to get a hold of you.
Well, you can really find mainly you can find me on Facebook, although I try to stay off of Facebook as much as possible. I try to stay away from social media because honestly, social media is depressing. Um, but you can find me on Facebook. I've got accounts on YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Twitch, um, or you can also get get to me through the Things Network page. Um, and then I've got all kinds of people where if you can't get a hold of me, you can get a hold of some of the members of my team. Say, hey, I'm trying to get a hold of him. I can't. Anyway, you can. Somebody will be able to get a hold of me one way or another.
Right? Just like I did, man. I had to get you on the show. And you know what? And it lived up to expectations. So thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
I
Uh,
appreciate you having me on here.
yes, sir. And hey, I might one day I might take you up on joining your family. You know,
Well,
uh,
we just happen to have openings on Saturday nights. Just letting you know.
well, my show lasts. Well, how long you give me to do a podcast with?
Well, on Iowa Network on Saturday night, we're basically open from 5:30 Central on.
Mm. Well, you know what? I don't know, man. I might think about it. I'll let you know, man. But, here's the thing, bro. You got to come with some perks, man. Hey, if you want me, you got to come with your A game. Yeah, man, you got to provide me with the zingers. I got to have some milk. Hey, and if you can find me some mango Dr. Pepper, you got yourself a deal.
How about some Mountain Dews and some pretzels? No. Well, like for me, it's Sprite, Subways, um, Doritos, the good stuff.
I can do some Doritos, bro. I can do some Doritos easy, but I'm stuck on the zingers, man. That if you've never had it, when's the last time you had a zinger?
The only zingers that I can give you are the verbal kind.
Well, I can't. Well, hey,
Chris
hey,
knows what I'm talking about. Well, so does Jennifer.
say world, you can see I tried to negotiate with this man. I tried to keep it simple. Give it the zingers and the milk.
I
Hey, man.
don't even know what zingers are. I've
You don't know
never
what a
heard of
zinger is? Hey, will
them. No.
somebody show this man what a zinger is?
Yeah,
Hey, Chris,
don't.
Dr. Pepper mango, not just regular Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper mango. Hey, when you go to your local Walmart, just go to the cookie aisle and ask for zingers, and they'll pop up. You'll run right into it. Yeah, it's sort of like a ding dong. But it's square like a Twinkie, but it has the filling on top, and it has the filling in the middle. It's like a cake,
Okay.
but
Well,
they're really good.
when I go shopping next week, I'll take a look.
Yeah, man. Hell, if you buy them, send them to me. I'll give you my address.
Yeah,
Hey, guys.
I used to get zebra cakes for my daughter.
Oh, dude, you know how many of those things I ate in high school? Oh my God, dude, they were like what, 15 cents? Oh hell, I'm showing my true age. I better stop. Yeah, man.
I'm behind you. I'm getting up there in age myself.
Oh man, you look every bit of 30. Come on now.
I'll be 44 in a couple of months.
See, I was right. Every bit of 30.
Look at all this white hair that I got right here.
Hey man, that comes with wisdom and knowledge.
I will go with that. Mm-hmm.
Now this comes from stress. Just losing all my hair.
I can believe that. I'm surprised I'm not bald from the stress that I've been going through the last couple of years.
Well, hey, my kids are driving me crazy.
That'll do it.
Yeah, it'll do it big. And hey, man, and they're up in age 31, 28, 27. But it's the
But
22-year-old that gets me.
think of how much money you're saving now by not having to buy any hair product.
Oh, shit.
Am I wrong?
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that, man. That is so
There's
cool.
a singer for you.
Oh shit! Yeah, every time I look in the bath, every time I go to the bathroom, I'm gonna think about that comment you just made. How much money it's saving me?
Yeah, just go to your kid and say, hey, you know what? Thank you. Because of you, I am bald now, and that means I don't have to worry about shampoo. I don't have to
Right
worry about a comb.
there, you go. Or a brush. Can you imagine brushing your scalp? Oh my god, dude, that's crazy. Yeah,
But the thing that I wouldn't be crazy about is getting out in the hot sun and then baking your skin.
Yeah, man. I've seen more people that has. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, I can't do that, man. I always gotta wear a hat. You know, mosquitoes landing on your head and flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's something else. Well, you know what, man? It has been a pleasure, Jeremy, talking to you. I really appreciate you coming on the show, sharing me with some of your knowledge. And and some of just what you think in general. I really appreciate it, man. And all you guys that are listening out there, hey man, make sure y'all go over there and check this man. Hey, check him out. He said he don't get on social media much, but hey man, shoot him a messenger if you got a question or something that you want to ask him. Even if you don't, make sure y'all hit that like, share, subscribe, but make sure y'all hit all of that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Chris, you too, brother. I appreciate it, man. It's I really do, and all you guys on his side, appreciate you guys checking out the show. I really do appreciate it. All you guys on Rumble and Twitch and Kick, appreciate you guys coming on the show, and all you YouTube, Facebook, and X and all that. I got too many to count, but hey, appreciate you guys checking it out. Make sure you like those, hit those numbers, and hey, support, 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 no matter what. Because if you do it for me, I'll do it for you. You know what I'm saying? But Jeremy, appreciate you coming on the show, man. And hopefully I'll be seeing you when I talk to Joe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But hey, this is Terry with NSPS TV Paranormal Podcast, signing off. Sunday evening podcast. And hey, you know what? I'm not back in the Lions Den, but when I get back there, you will know it. But in the meantime, peace.
Good night, everybody.
All right, guys. Good night, brother.